Hello again, it's Sean Seavey from Seavey Wealth. Today we're talking about Bitcoin. It's been in the news lately about the launch of these new Bitcoin ETFs. And as you can imagine, it sparked a couple conversations this week with our existing clients. So let's dive into it. Let's start off with what is Bitcoin? And that is partly hard to define. Is it a commodity like gold, silver, some of the other metals? Or is it a currency? Yen, the British pound. How does it work as a currency as a hedge to the US dollar? And unfortunately, it's hard to label Bitcoin as one or the other. It's kind of a hybrid. So when we talk about Bitcoin, one of the things that we have to really think about is how does it fit into a portfolio? For some clients who have their retirement fully funded, that this is, for lack of a better term, play money, then it can be something that's kind of fun. It can be something to dabble in and to have a small position in as a further diversifier against the other parts of the portfolio. But for those clients who are tracking short or just at their retirement capability, then it becomes more important to make sure that that investment is very intentional and very much focused on getting you to your goal, creating extra return for the risk that you're taking. Now, for me, Bitcoin is one of those that makes me a little nervous. The ranges of returns from up to down are much wider than your traditional stock portfolio, more or less a bond portfolio. So for me, when you look at Bitcoin, it really is something that you want to be careful with, right? We saw Bitcoin spot price go from 69,000 a coin all the way down to 15. That's not usually comfortable for those who need their portfolio to provide income. I will absolutely stipulate that Bitcoin has the potential to make a lot of money over time. But I think it's one of those investments that you either have to have an active trading strategy, meaning when it hits this price, you buy, when it hits this price, you sell, and continually roll those trades because there is enough implied volatility that allows you to actively trade Bitcoin or these Bitcoin ETFs. Or the other option is it's a buy and hold. You buy it at a reasonable price and let it run. But like individual stocks, I would certainly not put this into the I'm going to marry this. We're going to date this for a while. And if it does what we want it to do, fantastic. But if it doesn't, it's time to cut our losses and go from there. So I'm not opposed to Bitcoin. I just am nervous about the hype around Bitcoin. Even Jamie Dimon this week decided not to have nice things to say about Bitcoin. So, for me, I get nervous whenever clients bring it up as it's the future, it's the next new thing. Yeah, so was pets.com and Webvan. Like that's great, but let's slow our roll and really, I remember I worked at Fidelity for many years and got the chance to meet Peter Lynch, the famous fund manager of Magellan. And his philosophy was know what you own and why you own it. And if you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, you really have no business owning that stock. And I think that lesson absolutely applies when it comes to Bitcoin. Know what you own. Or do you own Bitcoin itself? Do you own an ETF of Bitcoin? Do you own a Bitcoin derivative? There are all of those out there. Why do you own it? Because it's fun and I want to see what it does. Okay, right? I think it's going to change the world. Let's be careful on that, right? It could, but that's not a reason to sink our entire portfolio into a what we call hybrid currency. And lastly, can you explain to a 5-year-old what is Bitcoin? If you don't know exactly what it is, because it's different than the blockchain technology, it's a currency based on blockchain. So if you don't know exactly what it is, it's really hard to invest in something that you don't know how it works. The other thing, personally, and this is my own personal opinion, I am very much aware, and the U.S. State Department and others have stated that it's very much being used as a money laundering, being used by the Sinaloa cartel, being used by North Korea and others. Morally, personally, I don't want to support that. So for me, I'm not going to own it. It could go through the moon. For me, I'm on track for my retirement. I'm on track for everything that I want to accomplish financially in life. I don't need that. And you know what? I'll sleep better at night knowing that I'm not supporting those types of activities. So I'm not opposed to Bitcoin as something for the portfolio. I'm not opposed to the concept of it. I'm not opposed to day trading it, and I'm not opposed to a buy and hold. But all things need to be done in their perspective amounts. A 1-2% position, great. Let's have some fun. You start getting north of 5, north of 10, that starts to really make me nervous. So, for me, it's a personal decision. Here at CV Wealth, we don't have model portfolios. If we want to include it, let's have a rational and intentional discussion around it, and we'll add it to the portfolio. If you say, you know what, I don't want to have any part of it, great, no problem. We don't have a model that says, oh, you have to own X percentage of this or that. So here at CV Wealth, we're not advocating for it, but we certainly understand the attraction to it. So let us know if you have any questions or comments. If you disagree, I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, until next time.